I want to talk to you about first impressions because as a church planter, you need to understand that first impressions rule the day. What I mean is this, and I say it all the time, the 2 informs the 58. When a first-time visitor comes into your church, that 2 minutes will steer and inform the perception they have for the entire rest of the service. Let me give you an example. They come in, they're greeted in the parking lot, their children are greeted, they're walked to their seat, it's a friendly church and people come around them and say hello. That 2 minutes will help them to look favorably on the rest of the service. However, the opposite is also true. If they come into a parking lot that seems disorganized or dirty, they're not greeted in the parking lot, nobody says hi to them or their kids, they have to make it all the way to the seat and guess where to go and what to do, and it seems very disorganized, that same impression will serve the rest of the 58. So let me give you a clear example how that plays out. The family that's greeted in the parking lot, their 2 minutes is starting off well. Somebody comes very friendly and very smiley, comes and greets their child as you're walking towards the church. They're greeted several times along the way. Good morning, good morning. They're ushered to their seat. They're directed where to go. The families around them as they sit begin to engage them in conversation. That first 2 minutes informs the next 58. So now the worship team's up. The guitar player is playing. And all of a sudden a string breaks. And their attitude, wow, look at that guitar player. He can play even though the string is broken. Then the preacher gets up to preach, the pastor gets up and begins to share his message. And maybe it's not the best message in the world. Maybe it's one of those Sundays where you're just floating a dud, right? But they're saying, well, you know what, but look at, he made some good points in there. You see, the 2 inform the 58. Now let's look at it from the other direction. They come in, they're not greeted, it's a bad experience, they make it all the way to their seat, nobody greets them around them, but yet cliques are forming and everybody's saying hi to everybody else, but it's all happening around that couple. That first 2 minutes will inform the next 58. That same guitarist gets up and plays and the string breaks and their immediate attitude is, look at that guy, he can't even play the guitar. The pastor gets up, he begins to preach his sermon and they're like, oh, this sermon's terrible. Man, they pick up their kid from the service and the girl doesn't greet him as she hands him the kid or doesn't say much about the child. Man, I'm never taking my kid back to this place. This place is terrible. The 2 informs the 58. As a church planner, you need to know if you sharpen anything in your service, it's that first 2 minutes because the next 58 depend on it entirely for the success of your church, for the success of your growth and your future. Concentrate on the 2. It informs the 58.